So Caitlin Clark is a photographer now, it seems. Shout out to the new Fever admin, doing a much better job than the last Fever admin, unless it's the same person who suddenly got better at their job. This is obviously the Fever posting this specific one, but yeah, Tyrese Halliburton looking. Tyrese Halliburton looking over and seeing Kane. He's like, oh, really?
So Caitlin Clark is sitting courtside at a Los Angeles Lakers versus Indiana Pacers game with a professional camera, snapping photos like accredited media, and the internet completely lost it. But what most people overlooked in all the buzz about her stepping into photography for a night is that this wasn't just a random off-season moment. It was a deliberate move by the Pacers organization that shows exactly how partnerships between the NBA and WNBA should actually function, and in the process it's quietly putting every other franchise that claims to support their women's team under the spotlight.
Caitlin Clark, the Pacers are letting her take pictures on the sideline, but apparently you if you're going to do what she's doing, you have to wear the vest, which is hilarious. And if you guys agree this is cool, subscribe. We were trying to hit 57,800 by the end of the day. We're not going to do that. We have currently lost 8 subscribers in the last hour. We can get to 57,775.
Look closely at that scene. Caitlin Clark is holding branded gear featuring her own jewelry line, positioned right on the baseline where only credentialed photographers are allowed, while Tyrese Halliburton glances over in disbelief. And what the Indiana Pacers did here wasn't just invite her to the game, they granted her the kind of access professionals wait months to earn, then amplified it across social media as if she were the headline attraction, even with LeBron James on the court in a Los Angeles Lakers matchup.
I didn't realize the NBA had changed their logo. I thought it was an NBA logo, or changed their Twitter picture. That being said, like, it is a very, very big thing. It is a very big thing seeing seeing Caitlin Clark and seeing, the NBA still pushing Caitlin Clark, which is really important. That is a really important thing. I was going to see the actual NBA page.
And here's what truly sets Indiana apart. Herb Simon owns both the Indiana Pacers and the Indiana Fever, same ownership, same arena, same city, but plenty of other NBA and WNBA franchises have shared those same advantages, like the Phoenix Suns and Phoenix Mercury, the Brooklyn Nets and New York Liberty before the sale, or the Washington Wizards and Washington Mystics in the past. Yet none of them have built the same level of true integration that Indiana has, because it goes beyond just sharing a venue. It's about valuing both teams as equally essential parts of the same brand identity.
Good to see, and yes, the Lakers are up 22 points. And Luka Doncic has 21 points in 12 minutes. Fucking hell. That man is a joke. That man is a joke, I'm not gonna lie. He's a joke. But Caitlin Clark obviously getting to see the player. She says she models her game on with is that a bag? Or is that something for photographers to like sit on? Branded with Caitlin Clark jewels. That's kind of cool.
Indiana is the rare market where the WNBA team matches the NBA team in drawing power, with the Indiana Fever selling out arenas at a pace similar to the Indiana Pacers. And even during the Pacers' finals run last season, the Fever were still filling Gainbridge Fieldhouse, which is highly unusual because in most cities the NBA franchise dominates attention while the WNBA team competes for visibility. But in Indiana, women's basketball has always carried deep cultural importance, with high school girls' games in some areas drawing larger crowds than boys, icons like Tamika Catchings already cemented as legends, and now Caitlin Clark positioned to elevate that legacy to an even greater level.
It's a very all-around interesting thing, and I think it's cool. I think it's just cool. It's cool in general. Seeing Caitlin Clark be in this position. It's cool that the Pacers, I do feel like the Pacers are doing it well, because I've said this from the start, is they are the one team in my opinion that treat their WNBA team as equals. As in, not even as equals, as in like Indiana, it's the one where it's like the WNBA and the NBA team both sell out arenas. Like
Look at how the Indiana Pacers are using that momentum. They're not just recognizing that Caitlin Clark exists, they're fully weaving her into their overall brand identity, with Pacers players regularly showing up at Indiana Fever games, Fever players being highlighted across Pacers social media, and real crossover marketing happening in a way that most franchises never attempt, turning what could be two separate organizations into one unified presence, and the results speak for themselves as the Fever recorded the highest attendance in WNBA history this past season, even drawing crowds exceeding 20,000 fans, numbers that rival NBA-level turnout for a WNBA team.
Where you're seeing the players like actually show up to Fever games, you're seeing there be a link, and it does help as well that Herb Simon owns both the teams. I'm surprised there's not more maybe between the Liberty and stuff, but at the same time, quite a lot of Fever players stay in market during the off season. That's something else as well, is that it seems like as well, it seems the Pacers players, some of them stay in market. It seems a few of the Fever players are staying in market, and that's a big one. Like, that is an important thing to see from that perspective.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Several Indiana Fever players are choosing to stay in Indianapolis during the off-season, which is extremely unusual in the WNBA, where most athletes leave their team city right after the season ends because salaries often require them to play overseas and they can't justify living there year-round. Yet Indiana is starting to feel different, becoming a place players actually want to remain. And a big reason for that shift is how the organization treats them, not just as seasonal athletes, but as year-round priorities, reinforcing that they truly matter beyond just game days.
Why the Fever, or that Herb Simon's got the Fever linking with the NBA team, and obviously, look, none of this happens without Caitlin Clark. Like, yes, there was a time when in Indiana where women's basketball was huge. Yes, Tamika Catchings played for the Indiana Fever. No question about that. Like, Caitlin Clark's got a lot to do. And by a lot to do, she's got to win a title. She's got to win a title to be the best player in Indiana Fever history. Like, you've got to overtake Tamika Catchings. And it's going to be hard to do if the front office stays borderline competent. They posted a thing today being like, happy birthday. Was it like...
Compare that to Phoenix, where the Phoenix Suns and Phoenix Mercury operate under the same ownership of Matt Ishbia, who acquired both teams in February 2023, yet the connection between the two still feels distant, especially after a difficult 2024 season where the Mercury finished 5-31, despite having global stars like Brittany Griner, one of the most recognizable athletes in the world following her detention in Russia, and Diana Taurasi, the WNBA's all-time leading scorer. But even with that level of star power, you don't see Suns players consistently supporting Mercury games the way Indiana Pacers players show up for the Indiana Fever, and there's no clear unified marketing approach, making them feel like two completely separate organizations that just happen to share the same owner rather than a fully connected brand.
Like, you have a scout? What, this is news? This is news to all of us. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. But I do have to say that the Pacers are doing a good job. I think the Pacers are doing a really, really good job in general with how they're promoting the Fever. And I don't even know if is it just Pacers? What is the total? Well, I don't even know. There's like a blanket name for...
Here's why this matters. The WNBA is in a crucial growth phase right now. The league has secured a new media rights deal worth roughly $200 million per year starting in 2026, nearly triple its previous agreement. Expansion is underway, franchise valuations are rising fast, and teams like the Golden State Valkyries are entering at a $50 million price point. But for this growth to last, individual franchises must build sustainable business models, and the Indiana Fever are showing exactly how it's done. First, you integrate your WNBA team into your NBA infrastructure as an equal partner, not an afterthought. The Fever's media presence has clearly improved, with stronger content, deeper storytelling, and real-time fan engagement, evidence of actual investment instead of treating the team like a side project. Second, you use NBA star power to amplify your WNBA brand. Tyrese Halliburton has consistently supported the Fever, attending games and promoting them authentically, creating a natural connection between the Indiana Pacers and Fever fanbases that can't be artificially manufactured. Third, you treat your WNBA stars with the same respect and visibility as NBA players. Caitlin Clark getting baseline photographer access at a Pacers game wasn't just a PR.
With the Mystics and the Wizards are different owners. The Nets and the Nets are the same owners as the Liberty. Maybe you'll see it more. And to be fair, Pods was the unofficial mascot in the Valkyries last year. But Pods' reputation's gone down so bad that if he tries to do the shit that he did last year with the Valks, people are just going to have none of it. People were already having none of it last year. People are definitely going to have none of it this year. But clearly leading the way in terms of that are the Indiana franchises. So yeah, that is the video. Let me know what you guys think.
Our moment. It signaled she's central to Indiana's basketball identity. When players feel valued, they perform accordingly, and that shift helped the Fever jump from missing the playoffs to making a deep postseason run in just one season. But there's another layer here. When the Fever recently highlighted their scouting staff, fans reacted with surprise. Many didn't even realize the organization had a formal scouting system. That perception matters, because relying on personal relationships instead of structured talent evaluation isn't a sustainable path to building a championship roster. If the Fever want Clark to eventually surpass Tamika Catchings as the greatest player in franchise history, they must surround her with talent identified through elite scouting, not just familiarity. Catchings' legacy is massive: a 2012 champion, 10-time All-Star, 5-time Defensive Player of the Year, and 2011 MVP, now enshrined in the Hall of Fame. Clark had an outstanding rookie season, but 1 year doesn't define a legend. Championships will. And those only come if the front office builds the right roster around her. The photography moments and social buzz are great for visibility, but the real question is whether the Pacers' Fever organization can sustain this momentum long-term and continue building a system strong enough to turn potential into a dynasty to both teams competitive. Can they keep selling out arenas for both teams? Can they build a blueprint that other NBA, WNBA partnerships can actually replicate? Because right now, Indiana Fever and the Indiana Pacers look like the only market that has truly figured this out. The New York Liberty and Brooklyn Nets had the potential to operate this way, but ownership changes under Joe Tsai shifted that dynamic. The Washington Mystics and Washington Wizards now operate under different ownership structures, and many other WNBA franchises don't even have an NBA partner to begin with. So the real question is whether other organizations will learn from Indiana's model or continue treating their WNBA teams like side projects that don't deserve equal investment or attention. Because the Fever just proved something undeniable: when you invest in your WNBA team, integrate it into your brand identity, and provide real resources and support, it can become just as valuable as your NBA product, maybe even more valuable depending on the market. Caitlin Clark sitting courtside with a camera isn't just a viral moment. It's a signal that the organization understands something most franchises still don't. Your WNBA team isn't a burden, it's an opportunity. And when you treat it like one, the fans respond. So what do you think? Are the Pacers setting the gold standard for how NBA and WNBA teams should operate together? Or is Indiana just a unique case that can't be replicated elsewhere?